All right, great. Thank you so much, Mr. Hill, for that awesome introduction. And I'm telling you, I don't know you that well, but I know that you're doing some awesome things in the community. I know you really, really care about people. And that's why, the people that are on the call are so fortunate that you reached out to them because you wanted to make sure that they got a chance to hear this information firsthand. And so I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that you were the person that had the vision behind putting this call together. There are other people on this call you'll get a chance to meet, and I will introduce them as we go along. But let me just tell you a little bit about myself. My husband and I live in the Atlanta, Georgia area. We are entrepreneurs, and we also, are people that, we care about people. And so let me just tell you how I feel qualified to share this information with you. See, a friend of ours, about 2.5 years ago, just reached out to us, sort of like the way you're being reached out to right now, and said that I have something you've got to hear about, something you need to try. And so we were very curious about that. So we met my husband on the expressway and got off the expressway, and my husband, he gave my husband a package that included these tiny little patches that you see right here, about the size of a quarter, thin like a Band-Aid. And so, he says, well, he said, what is this for? And he says, well, this is going to do so many things to help your body in many different ways. Now, he also invited us to a call like the one you're on right now. And on this call, we heard some things that really surprised us because it seemed like miraculous things were happening to people, stuff like you hear in the Bible type of miraculous things. And we felt like, okay, that's not us. We're not sick. We're not in pain. But out of curiosity, we decided to try this patch. We were literally on our way to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where my husband is from. And we got up there. The first thing we noticed is my mother-in-law, who was at the time 92 years old, was looking as if she was about to cry. She was in so much pain and her knee was hurting so bad. She tried ointment, she tried pain medications, everything the doctors had given her, and nothing seemed to work, but except she needed surgery and she was afraid to have surgery at her age. So we said, well, why don't we just put this patch on her? So we didn't really know what else to do. We put the patch on her knee. She went to bed. The next morning, she woke up and she said that she did not get up in the middle of the night like she normally did. She did not have any pain medication or anything, and the pain was gone. So, that raised our curiosity. So that night, we decided, okay, we're going to try the patch, even though we didn't know what was going to happen because we didn't have any type of pain. Remember, we didn't have any type of illnesses. Well, we decided to try the patch. And that night, I noticed this the next morning, that I slept all night and that my husband had not snored. But we did not attribute it to the patch. We did not attribute it to the patch. We just thought, oh, this is a lucky night. The next day we did it again. We put the patch on again. This time, same thing happened. My husband did not snore. Now, the reason this is significant is because my husband had a chronic sleeping disorder where he would snore all the time. He would choke and cough. I would have to beat on his back because I thought he's going to choke himself to death. This would go on all night long for 10 years. So not only was it noisy and he couldn't sleep, I couldn't sleep either. So can you just imagine what life was like for 10 years? And so that got our attention because we knew it was at the patch then. But guess what? My husband has not snored in 2.5 years now. But what happened after that, we decided based on what we had heard, similar to what you're going to hear tonight, we felt like we must tell everybody we know because there's too many people that need this. As we go along through this presentation, you'll understand why not only do you need it, but people you care about need it as well. So what I want to ask you to do as we go along, please take something out to write, some paper and pen, because we're going to say some things and the first thing you're going to think of, oh, my Uncle Bob needs to know about this. I want you to remember those people as we go along, okay? So let me go ahead and pull up a presentation that will allow us to stay, in a certain order as what we're talking about. But once again, we're talking about this tiny little patch. We literally call it a technology. And so the reason we call it a technology is this. You see, I know that many of you have heard of something called stem cell injections. This is what doctors have started referring their patients to when they can't do anything to help them anymore. They just have given up. They just don't know what to do. But let me tell you what a stem cell injection, let me tell you something about those. Number one, they come from an embryo or an umbilical cord. They're very expensive. They can range anywhere from $5,000 to over $25,000. That's not really accessible from a consumer, from a financial standpoint to the average person, because first of all, insurance doesn't cover it. It is localized. That means that if you got that pain in your knee, that's unbearable, but yet you also have a rotator cuff issue and it's very painful too. The injection will only help the knee because it's in one local area. That's what we mean by localized. It's not going to help the shoulder. You'd have to get a whole separate shot injection for that shoulder. And many times, like about 30% of the time, I understand it doesn't even work. So those types of risks don't really sound attractive to most people. And but that's what was going on for years. But now we have a different option, and that's why we want to tell you about this patch. You see, when you wear this patch, the first thing's going to happen is copper peptides. You're going to learn more about them as we go along. In your body are elevated. And scientists said years ago, if you elevate the copper peptides in someone's body, it will reactivate the dormant stem cells. Let's talk about that some more. You see, by the time we're age 30, half of our stem cells go inactive. It's just a way of life. This is when you start getting high blood pressure, diabetes, those kinds of things. This is when you start getting tired by the time we're in our 30s, because half of those stem cells are dormant. By the time we're 60, almost all of our stem cells are dormant, like 90% of them. This is why people start getting Alzheimer's and dementia and their skin starts wrinkling. All these things are relative to the fact that our stem cells go dormant. And they make up the tissues and organs in our bodies, and they are the body's intended repair system. So if our repair system is going dormant, now we don't have anything to heal ourselves naturally the way we're supposed to. So the less active stem cells that we have, the slower we're going to heal, and the more we're going to feel the effects of aging. So everybody has millions of stem cells in their body when they're born, but they start going dormant. Now I want to make a disclaimer because I want you to understand this is not a drug or any medicine. And so they're not, so LifeWave products, that's the name of our company, are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. All we're saying is the patch is going to reboot your body so that it can do what it needs to do. See, the stem cells are just sitting there. They're already there. They just went to sleep. Okay, so how does it work? You see, it's a proprietary form of phototherapy. Have you ever heard it being said that if you go out into the sun, it's going to elevate the vitamin D in your body, right? But the vitamin D is not floating around in the air. It's not being deposited in your body. The vitamin D is already in your body. It's just being elevated because of the light of the sun, right? So we don't have to have the sun to benefit from this patch. See, our body, we already have light and heat in our body. So you can put this patch anywhere in your body, on your body. And so when you do the heat and light of your body, what it's going to do, it's going to reflect off these crystals, as you can't even see them because they're so tiny. They call them nanocrystals. These nanocrystals are in the center of this patch. They're formulated in an FDA registered lab. They're not FDA approved, again, because they're not a drug. The FDA approves drugs. This is not a drug. This is a technology. So it's non-transdermal. Nothing's going to penetrate in your body. You don't have to worry about that. But it's going to reflect off the light and heat of your body. And when that does, that's when the copper peptides are going to be elevated and the stem cells are going to be reactivated. No drugs or chemicals are in here, and it's non-invasive. This is why doctors love this, because it's not competing with any kind of drugs that they may be giving you. So we don't tell people, stop taking the drugs that a doctor's giving you. Let the doctor, authorize you to come off those drugs. But more than likely, they're gonna, in a very short period of time, recommend your drug prescription or whatever be reduced or even eliminated. Okay, you're going to find that out as we go along. So this is very exciting because you start thinking about professional athletes. We have many professional athletes. You will hear from one in a moment that love this because when you're an elite athlete, you cannot they cannot find you guilty of taking any type of performance enhancing drugs. But yet elite athletes, some like Serena Williams, people like that, are using our patch. That just tells you how amazing it is. Okay. I want to introduce you to a very special person. His name is David Schmidt. He is the CEO of our company. He is the inventor of this amazing patch. We call it the X39. This man is a living genius. He was hired years ago by the Department of Defense to assist the Navy SEALs in staying energized for 36 hours at a time when they were underground working on this new project. And it was a very successful project. And it started, the news started spreading all over the country amongst doctors and scientists and coaches at these elite institutions like Stanford. As a matter of fact, the women's swim team, Olympic swim team at Stanford, used the enhancer patch. That was what they call his first patch, the energy enhancer patch. They used that patch when they were performing in the Olympics. What does that tell you right there? And so he just kept inventing everything. He has over 200 patents now. And he started in 2008, focusing his attention on stem cell research. And let me let you understand this. See, Dr. Lauren Picard, back in 1978, I believe it was, pronounced that there is no way to reactivate the dormant stem cells in your body. He said, there's no way to do it in a natural way. There's no way. And David Schmidt took 10 years and $4.5 million to do all this research that took him 10 years to do, 80 case studies. He was very persistent, but yet he did this with precision. This man is what I said, a level of genius. He did something that no one can do because see, there's billions of dollars, multiple billions of dollars still being spent every year on stem cell research. But you're going to find out very quickly that we have the goose that laid the golden egg with our patch, okay? Now, because of that, because he did all this research and everything, it was patented, you guys. Those case studies allowed him to prove that the patch worked. So therefore, it's patented. No one else can market this product for the next 15 years. No one else can distribute this product for the next 15 years, except our company, LifeWave, and they do that through people like me and you. So let me read a little bit about the technology, the patent. It says, a wearable phototherapy apparatus that produces beneficial effects to the human body, such as activation of stem cells, improvement in strength, improvement in stamina, pain relief via a non-transdermal container. The non-transdermal apparatus reflects or emits specific wavelengths of light to elevate levels of the copper peptide, GHKCU, in the body. That's what I was saying earlier. It's going to elevate the copper peptides, which in turn are going to reactivate those dormant stem cells. This is, excuse me, this is a phenomenon, you guys. Now, there are many, many benefits that many of us experience, too numerous to put on this page. But here's just a few of the most common benefits that everybody normally benefits from. Increased strength. As we get older, we're not as strong as we used to be, are we? It's going to increase your strength. Reduce inflammation. They say that anywhere that there's pain or disease, there is definitely some inflammation. It's going to reduce that inflammation. Energy and vitality. Increased stamina. Mental clarity. As we get older, we forget things, and it's it's just amazing that how all of a sudden we turn a certain age and our whole mental clarity is decreased. Restored muscle and skeletal conditions. As we get older, many people experience osteoporosis. The density of our bones are not as dense, and our skeletal system starts breaking down. But it's going to restore all of that. Isn't that amazing? That's very important. Improvement of sleep. I told you what it did for me and my husband. Most people sleep like a baby. They begin dreaming almost every night. I've gotten to the point because they say that the last thing you think about when you go to sleep, you're probably going to dream about it. I've recently started just deciding, what do I want to dream about? I just started thinking about it so that maybe I'll have that dream. It's kind of fun. Improve skin appearance. I'm going to show you some visuals in a moment of people with skin conditions that were improved because of this patch. And once again, we're not making any medical claims, okay? Now, let me tell you about what happened in this, one of the case studies. They took this 77-year-old woman and they placed the X39 on the back of her neck. And what happened in the first session, you can see there is all this orange red area, which is represents inflammation in her brain. And there was lack of brain coherence. 3 weeks later, there was no more inflammation in her brain and improved brain coherence just in 3 weeks. And then a total of 6 weeks, there was a complete turnaround and better brain coherence. I mean, this is what you may expect. It could be your brain. It could be my brain. It's not just your brain, it's your heart. Different parts of your body are going to have probably have inflammation in them right now. But this is just an example of what we mean. So when we talk about what this patch can do for you. So this woman walked in there with a hyperactive brain, and in 6 weeks, it completely turned around. So on this page right here, we're just listing what happened in the case studies, which those case studies can be found on this site. You have some paper, you can write this down. This is it, info.com. You're going to find the case studies, doctors' reviews, all kinds of testimonies. But let's talk about what happened in those case studies. In the very first few days, over 4,000 genes begin to reset. Now, the reason that is so significant, you just remember that number 4,000. You see, you've probably heard someone say that when you drink red wine, there's an ingredient in it called resveratrol. 1 glass of wine will reset 2 genes. So that tells you got to drink over 2,000 glasses of wine just to reset 4,000 genes when you could just put this patch on. See, this is very significant. Within 6 weeks, we just saw it on the previous page. The brain becomes balanced. That lady's brain became balanced. Who do you know with PTSD? Who do you know with that's autistic? Who do you know that has Alzheimer's, dementia? All of those conditions are reflective of a person's brain that's unbalanced. We have so many testimonies on people with those types of conditions going away, okay? Within 3 months, your collagen is increased. The collagen is holding your body together, your joints, your muscles. That's what makes you look firm, makes your skin look supple and without the wrinkles, helps your hair and nails grow. Within 6 months, the heart reverses in age. Listen, we're going to be getting younger and younger and younger, our bodies, because every 6 months that we wear the patch, our heart and all those other organs become reversed by 8 years. Let me give you a quick example. There's a lady here in Atlanta, and I'm going to mute someone, please. I'm going to mute somebody that is unmuted. There's this lady in Atlanta, and she and she went and had a vascular age test. And then when they took this test, first of all, she was 73. They came out and says, we tested you at 35 years old, but that's not possible. And she said, we got to recalibrate the machine and we'll get back with you. She says, oh no, there's nothing wrong with the machine. I've been wearing this patch for 2.5 years. So listen to this. In 2.5 years, that's 5 increments of 6 months, right? Remember, every 6 months, your heart reverses by 8 years. So what's 8 times 5? 40 years. If you subtract 40 from that 73, this is making her heart operate as a 33 years old. Okay, so do you understand what we mean when we say the heart reverses in age? So we really recommend, please pay attention to this. It is highly recommended that you not look at this as something you put this patch on and everything changes in a day. Everybody's body is different. We have a different DNA. We got different circumstances that exist in our body. But if you understand what we're saying here, give it a good 6 months, you guys. If you're 60 years old, every decade of your life is recommended that you wear the patch at least 1 month. I mean, at least 1 month. So that's 6 months right off the bat. Some people say, well, how long should I wear it? Well, I'm still wearing mine, and I'm still discovering things that are happening slowly but surely. So it's just a personal choice, but just know that David Smith said this is not anti-aging, you guys. This is age reversing. Now, how do you wear it? It's so simple. All you got to do is tear the back of this paper, this off. There's paper on the back, just like if it were a Band-Aid. Just take it off, stick it anywhere on your body. Now, in the case studies, they use these two locations on this diagram, where below the belly button or behind the neck, so that they can have some consistency when they measure the results. But you can literally wear it anywhere. You wear it for 12 hours a day. Like if you start at 8 in the morning, you take it off at 8 at night, throw it away. Why? Because you're going to get 30. So you're going to get 30 patches in this beautiful packaging here. See? So you don't have to wear it. First of all, you don't want to wear the same one every day because it works for a certain number of hours. You want to wear this 12 hours a day, throw it off, put a new one on the next day. Here's what you must do though. You must drink plenty of water because it's going to allow the toxins to be flushed out of your body. This is healing your body, you guys. And it just allows the patch to work more efficiently because we have energy now flowing through your body. So that's very important. The main thing is to drink that water. It's all that matters. Now, this is the part of tonight that I really get excited about because this is where you get to hear somebody besides me. You want to hear from someone to show you how this patch has changed their life. And so the first person I want to call on is the person that just happens to be the one that shared this information with Mr. Tony Hill, and that is Mr. we call him JT Thompson out of Jacksonville, Florida. James, would you mind unmuting yourself and sharing your testimony?
Yes. Thank you so much, Vidita. I really appreciate you for your leadership and your hard work with helping all of us to share this patch all around this great country of ours. My wife and I have shared this patch with friends back in Virginia and all over the country. So I want to thank you for your leadership and your persistency. I mean, your diligence and everything. But anyway, I want to get down to it right away. The benefits that Vidita showed you all, I've experienced every one of them, and it's no exaggeration. So I can't go into everything. I was once a professional football player with the Washington Redskins and New York Giants. So over many years of playing football, I had my body torn apart, literally. So I was introduced to this patch back in June of 2023. And I was in such bad shape that this man right here, James Thompson, wasn't even happy about being on this earth. But God shared with me that I didn't have a right to do what I was thinking about doing, things that would cross my mind because I had responsibilities. I had a wife and I had children and grandchildren. But anyway, I started using this patch, really not thinking about all the other things, but I had rotator cuff issues. They wanted to cut on my shoulder and I refused to do it. And really, after about a week and a half, I woke up one morning because I couldn't get my arm up above my shoulder. And I lift my arm and I would test it every morning. But this morning I got up, I lifted it above my arm and I said, this is different. So what happened was I went out and grabbed a golf club that I haven't swung in over 7 years. I went beside my driveway and I was real cautious at first, but after I saw my shoulder wasn't hurting, I just started letting go. And I said, okay, it's got to be this patch because I hadn't been doing anything else. So you're talking about over 6-7 years with that. But I also had problems with doctors wanted to do knee replacement on my right knee, and I refused that. They wanted to do surgery on my L5, my lumbar, in my lower back. I refused that. And also my C3 in my neck. I refused that. Over the last 7 years, I refused all these different surgical procedures because at my age of 72, I saw too many people that once they had that surgery at my age, never recovered again. So I refused. But lo and behold, the Lord sent me a lady that I'm gonna introduce here shortly that really changed my life. And I really got involved just because of the pain. I did not know about all the other things, like I said, the benefits. I was sleeping like a baby. I used to get up every 2.5 hours, go in the bathroom every night. Now I sleep, maybe get up once at night. So it's so many benefits coming into the room. I used to always walk in the room and I just turn around, walk out because I couldn't remember what I came in the room for. But now I come in the room, say what I come in here for, and give it about 2-3 seconds. Boom, it comes to my memory. So, and skeletal muscle, I mean, it's just so many things. I work out now and I can lift weights that I couldn't lift since probably 15 years ago. So everything has improved. I can jog now. The doctors told me I would never jog again. I can jog. I even sprinted. Now, I was a 72-year-old man sprint, but it wasn't your average 72-year-old. But it was so many things, and I'm just so blessed to be introduced to this amazing technology. So my wife, I'm going to tell you her testimony. My wife was introduced to this patch a couple of 2.5 weeks after me, because she's the pharmacist, retired pharmacist, the skeptic. She said, well, I'll watch you. So she watched me for 2.5 weeks. And after 2.5 weeks, after traveling to Colorado Springs to be with some friends, we were staying in their basement. She couldn't go up and down stairs without holding the rail and going one step at a time. Took her a long time to go up and down stairs. But after putting a patch on her on a Saturday morning in Colorado Springs, she walked up and down the stairs normal one day. But bear in mind, her body wasn't beat up as bad as mine. So everybody's body is different. As Miss Verdita said, for every decade of your life, you need to get this patch at least 30 days. So I don't want to, like I say, I want to respect everybody's time, but I thank you so much, Verdita, for giving me this opportunity. And please, please, people, don't, if you think you're in great shape, don't believe it. There's always something going on inside. I tell people I feel like I'm in my early 50s. That's how great I feel. So, and even slowly coming off of, I've slowly come off my blood pressure medicine. So not on that anymore. My cholesterol has gotten better. So thanks again, Verdita. I appreciate you. At this time.
Oh, go ahead. You want to introduce Robin?
Yeah, at this time, I want to introduce the person who started me on this journey. And she convinced me that I need to give it at least a 30-day try. I mean, a 90-day try. So, but after 90 days, I saw where my wife was with this, and she said, I need some too. So we upgraded to the top package because we knew so many people. So I thank you, Robin. I want to introduce you to everyone on this call, Miss Robin Clark.
Thank you so
much. Phenomenal leader.
Thank you so much, JT. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Can you guys hear you?
Okay, great. Thanks to Tony Hill. Thank you for inviting all of your friends and family to the call this evening. And JT and Santa, I mean, when I talk about team players, they are on board with everything. They are coachable. They came into this business, like he said, not knowing what to expect. But once they saw the results of this amazing, remarkable patch, he was sold. He's like, this is what we're going to do. And so basically what we're doing is just spreading the good news about this, this innovation, really, that's helping so many people to reverse the signs of aging. I don't know about you guys, but I was looking forward to doing something like that. When I first got the call from Verdita and Harvey Mock, who's on the call with us tonight, I didn't want to sell anything. I told her, I said, no, it's not for me. I don't want to sell anything. But once I realized that it wasn't about selling, it's about sharing. I just I couldn't stop thinking about all the people that I knew that needed it. However, I didn't really think about myself at first. I was experiencing, Verdita did not know this, but I was experiencing insomnia. It was really, really bad, to the point where it affected my day hours. You know, when you've got that interrupted sleep, you know, you're not functioning well during the day. I also was having some joint pain, and I was diagnosed with a form of arthritis, I guess. And I just said to myself, I guess this is part of the aging process. But I had joint pain in my hand, joint pain in my hip. I couldn't sleep on certain sides, and it was just crazy. It was driving me insane. But again, I said, let me get on this patch. Let me try the patch for myself. I would say from my insomnia and my joint pain, within the first week, I did not have those issues anymore. Now, the one thing that really, really got me and sold me on what was happening with my body, after being on the patch for 1 month, I went back to my doctor, and I had been suffering and on blood pressure medication for over 20 years. My father had passed away at the age of 38 from blood pressure complications. So I went on those blood pressure pills, knowing that it was hereditary, and basically I couldn't control it any other way with diet or exercise. So I got on the blood pressure meds, still keeping my blood pressure right below, but not normal. It was still on the higher end. So I had gone from 148 over 87 after a month of being on the patch. And ever since then, it's been 2 years now. I've been on the patch. My blood pressure now ranges from 120 over 70 or 72. That was remarkable for me. So I would say I've met a lot of people. We've introduced this to a lot of people where they have experienced the blood pressure issues diminishing, and with under their doctor's care, you know, eventually they can come off of their meds, but with their doctor's care. And also cholesterol issues for me have gotten better. So all I can say is we think a lot of times, as JT says, we don't need it. We may not need it. This is not for me. However, trust me, you don't know what's going on internally. So try the patch. Give it that 6-month try. Give it that at least a 3-month try, or whatever you can afford to do. But it's worth it. It's worth it. And at this point, we're choosing wellness. Basically, that's what it is. And the power of the patch gives us our wellness. Okay. So I'm going to turn it back over to our moderator for this evening, Verdita Mock. As I said, Verdita and her husband, Harvey, called me about the patch 2 years ago. And again, I was a little reluctant at first to even try it. Okay. But they have been in direct sales or this type of business for over 20 years. They've been successful in this type of business. And I know when my girlfriend brings something to me, it's got to be serious. Okay. So I listen to her, but they are truly, truly pioneers with this company. They are, they've just made all the waves and reached all the highest levels with this company. So I'm going to turn it back over to Verdita Mock, and she can share a little bit more about why we are still so excited. Thanks, Verdita.
Well, thank you so much, Robin and James, for, you know, just being, just being partners with me, you know, because when you have a vision, it's always so much fun when you have other people that are alongside you. And I want to share this with you. You know, you heard JT and Robin talk about the business. Now, I want you to just catch your moment. I don't want you to think about this being a business. I want you to think about this as something that you need. Because many people are just customers, or they're just using this patch. We're not trying to sell you anything. We're just trying to help you. And we know that there's people in your family. If we could tell you the kinds of things that have saved people's lives, you'd be running Tony down to get some of these patches. So let me tell you, I told you I was going to show you a visual of some people. Look at this gentleman right here who had something called vitiligo. You probably heard of that, where there's that discoloration in your skin. Do you realize there is no cure for that? They do have treatments, but they don't do hardly anything compared to this little patch he wore for a year and it went away. Who do you know like that? What about this lady right here? She wasn't sick or anything, but look at how the lines around her mouth have gone away, and the bags under her eyes, the wrinkles in her eyes. She looks 20 years younger after wearing the patch for 3 years. I mean, literally, she looks 20 years younger. So these are the kinds of things that you might experience, with your skin. And the list goes on and on about things that you could experience. But if you go to this site right here, I told you about it earlier, but again, it's called thisitsitinfo.com. And if you click on this tab right here where it says testimonials, if you click on that, you're going to see a whole page full of testimonies. All you got to do is click on it, whether it's eye improvement, heart, bladder improvement, just click on it. And then it'll bring up a recording of a person who gave a testimony, sort of like what we're doing now. This call is recorded. So this test literally could take these testimonies. We have another site that we use where you can post that testimony on there, because somebody may be inspired by knowing that, yes, it helped this person with the neuropathy. So many people that I know personally that had neuropathy, and within like 1 or 2 days, or sometimes even less, all just went away. We have many, many people with excruciating pain that was unbearable, that after, like, for example, we have a lady on our team in Virginia who had a migraine headache for 25 years, 5 days a week. Doctors couldn't do anything for her. They gave her nerve blocks, injections, nothing helped. And the moment someone from her church came by and put the patch on her neck, the pain went away in 2 seconds. You guys, this is what we're talking about. This is something that is not normal. I told you in the beginning that you may hear some things that almost sound like miracles from the Bible. This is, literally what we're seeing happen on a daily basis. We had a young lady, I want to check before we go any further to see if she's on the call, because she had a phenomenal testimony, Miss Tanya Woodruff. Did you ever get on the call? Because I don't see your name on the call. Okay, I don't see her. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going, but I'm just letting you know that I was contacted by Bishop Al Grindis, and it says, we've got this phenomenal testimony and he told me what it was that you got to hear. Every single day, we hear a phenomenal testimony. So thank God for that. Let me move on. And
hello, I'm here.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
Tanya, I've called on you 2 or 3 times.
Yes,
Okay.
I don't know why it wasn't going through, and I'm here.
Okay, great. Can you share your video?
Let's see.
At the bottom where it says video on the bottom left side, start video. Okay, don't worry about it because it looks like you're on an iPhone and you might not be able to find it out. Just go ahead and share your testimony.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Well, my cousin Charlene and Reverend Grandison had came home this past weekend for a family reunion. And they were talking about the patch, and I was telling them that I had a cyst on my neck, and it was there for over 5 years. And I've been going through surgery this past year, having it removed, and for whatever reason, it's been difficult. So the last time I went, my doctor had said that I had 2 types of bacteria infection going on, and one of them was considered MRSA. So they had been putting me on all these different antibiotics and everything. And finally they took me off. I just came off probably about 3 weeks ago off my last antibiotic. And I was telling them about it. And he said, well, I'm going to patch you just to see how this is going to work. And I'm going to tell you instantly, when he put it on me Sunday night, I just got hot. And I was like, I didn't understand why I was having heat, like radiant heat started coming all over me, and I was getting hot. And I was telling my father, I said, I don't feel right. This don't feel right. I said, I might take this off, but I'm glad I didn't. And my father said that it sounded like you may have had fever in the back of your neck. And I got up this morning, the knot was completely gone. I have no knot, no nothing there. And I have been feeling wonderful. I've been sleeping good. And this all just took place Sunday. I have the last 2 nights I have woke up at 2:30. I've been waking up at 2:30, 3 o'clock, like ready to go, starting my day. And my
Wow.
day usually don't start until 5, but I was like ready to go. And my father is on the patch as well, and he is 82, soon to be 83 in November. And he have also stated that he just felt like he been getting up in the morning and said he hasn't been stiff. He just feel great. You know, he was like, I just feel like $1,000,000. So I was like, we're going to continue on with this patch. And I just want to say to my cousin Charlene and Reverend Grandison, thank you for introducing us to the patch.
Wow. Latanya, did you say you were from Virginia?
Virginia, yes, ma'am.
What part?
Roanoke, Virginia.
Okay, so make sure we talk after this because I'll be coming up that way in 2 weeks.
Oh,
Maybe less than 2
absolutely.
weeks. Okay, maybe 3 weeks. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, we'll talk, okay?
Okay, yes, ma'am.
So thank you for sharing that powerful testimony. Now you see, this is something that she's been dealing with for 5 years. So
Mhm.
she's telling the truth, okay? So this is what we're saying. We never know what this patch is going to do. Anything that's wrong with you, just try the patch. That's all I got to say. Thank you so much, Latanya, for sharing. You can mute yourself now.
Thank you.
All right, so let me get back to this page because I definitely wanted to make sure we hear that. So now you see how you can literally be free of any kind of ailments in your body. So we're talking about health freedom. And then, the thing is, it's one thing to have all the health that you need, it's one thing to, live free of pain and all that. But what if you didn't have financial freedom? Because it takes money to live. And now with what's going on in the world, you could have a job right now, but with AI going on, do you realize that a large percentage of the workforce are going to lose their jobs because of AI taking over their job? But not only that, just being able to, especially when you get a certain age like myself, I'm self-employed. My husband and I are both entrepreneurs, but we're at the age we should have retired several years ago based on our age. But because of this technology and the fact that our company compensates us for sharing it, that's all we're doing. I don't sell anything. The company shares, we share it with us, so the company compensates us when we help people, like Latanya, when I help my friend Robin. That's my best friend. I wanted to help her. I wasn't going to keep it a secret. And I promise you, I did not participate in this because of the money. I just got a package because I said, I got some people I want to share it with. And that's how it happened. And people started wanting the patch, and it kept spreading to now my husband and I have over 7,000 people that we have touched with this patch. And the company compensates us every single time those people continue to use the patch. And so we're also talking about time freedom, being able to do the things you want to do in life. If you have a nonprofit or something, and you want to be able to, do that, but you can't do that at the rate you want to do it because you have a full-time job. So we're talking about different kinds of things that we want to do, and we able to do it because we're free financially, health-wise. If you can't walk, that's not health freedom. We got people that have gotten up out of their wheelchairs as a result of this patch. Had a lady whose husband had not walked in several months, and he had to have a walker if he did walk. And when she came home with the patch and put this on him, 20 minutes later, she was in another room, and he had gotten up, walked and gotten in his car and driven down to the pond on their property. And he said he was walking around praising God. That's where he went down to the pond just to praise God, because he could not believe he did not have any more pain, and he was able to walk. He had left his walker sitting there in the family room. She didn't know where he had gone. That's what we mean about the health freedom, and then we talk about the financial freedom and health and time freedom. So give me about 5 more minutes. I'm gonna show you how this works, because this is a global business. If you've been in the armed service, you might know somebody in France or Italy. In other words, we're in over 75 countries, okay? And our company is growing so fast because the patch works. But what happened in those first 18 years or so that the company was in existence. Remember, it was mostly doctors and scientists and people like that that were really enamored by this patch, and doctors were recommending it to their patients. But it wasn't until people like myself, who's an entrepreneur, and our team, our big team, not my particular team, but the team that we're part of called This Is a Team. We exploded the growth of this company in 2022. The company jumped up to 320 million. In 2023, exploded to 430 million. Last year, we exceeded 600 million. This year, 2025, is the year that our company is projected to hit $1 billion, which is very rare in a home-based business type company. So how is this growth possible? It's because this is not an ordinary product. It's not a Me Too product. It's not like a weight loss, skincare, hair care. We've already told you the solutions to all of that with this one patch, but no one can market this product and no one can duplicate it. And that's why we said this is not a Me Too product. You will not be able to purchase this, through, like any of these products you see right here. You can go to the drugstore or somewhere and get them, but you won't be able to get it through a drugstore with this patch. You've got to reach out to somebody like a Tony or JT or Robin or myself to be able to have access to using this patch. Now, let me tell you about our compensation plan really quickly. We are compensated, as I told you, but we cannot guarantee you the kind of income you would earn. Always saying that it's all based on your skills and your personal effort. Now, this form right here really reflects what information you need in order to get some of these patches. You need to know what package you want. I'm gonna tell you about those. We need to know your name, address, date of birth, basic stuff, and then we can order yours for you. So, you're gonna get back with Tony or whoever invited you, and they're gonna show you how to get some of these patches. So I'm just gonna show you how to get the patches. And if you're not interested in learning about the compensation plan, you're free to leave the call once I tell you how to get these patches. So the first thing is the core pack will give you 30-day supplies of this, 3 sleeves. We call them sleeves, 30 for $295. So that's around $99 for a 30-day supply. That's enough for you and your spouse, maybe for 1 month. The advanced pack will give you 6 of those sleeves that are normally $99, but you're going to save $65 because you got $600 worth of this product. That's going to be 6 sleeves, saving you $65. That's enough to share with way more people, because you normally will share it with your mom, your sister, somebody. You may give them 3 to 5 patches like LaTanya. I'm pretty sure Pastor Grandison left some of the patches with her, but he couldn't do that if he didn't have extra, okay? And then the premium pack is our top package. That's the one JT was talking about. That's for the people that are really serious about helping some people and also earning money. That's the package my husband and I decided to get, because when we looked at this patch and what it was doing for people, we said, there is no way we're going to leave anybody off our list. We got the big package and we started sharing it with different people. And so with that being the case, you're going to save a lot more on that package. You're going to be paying $87.50 a sleeve as opposed to $100 a sleeve. But the other benefit of that package is this. It allows you, let's say when I got started and Robin said she wanted to order some, I was able to loan her a 30-day supply until hers came in. And that was the beautiful thing about having the top package. You just got a lot more inventory. But then the other thing is this. You want to stay active. Remember, JT say stay on this patch at least a month for every 6 months that a month for every decade that you're alive. So if you're 60 years old, you definitely want to use it for 6 months. So you want to stay on an auto ship. We call it a monthly subscription. It's going to cost you $99, but it's going to allow you to keep the points that you're going to accumulate, because I'm going to tell you what you're going to do with those points in a minute. Then, but if you want to look at this as a business, or if it's 2 people in your family, you and a spouse, you're going to need two sleeves every month. That's going to cost you $200, but you're also going to keep your points, but it's going to allow you to maximize our compensation plan. You're going to make all the money available in the compensation plan. Now, the thing about this package, I told you, the premium package, you won't have to do a monthly subscription for 90 days. So that's another benefit of having that. So you don't have to, if you have a spouse, that's 6 sleeves that you can have available to yourself for the next 90 days. Now, if you decide you just want to be a customer, it's going to cost you $149, around $150 to get a 30-day supply. The person who wants to use it every month, but they still just want to be a customer, they're going to pay the wholesale price because they're doing it like an auto ship where it's coming every month. This person only is getting 1 sleeve, but they're giving you a discount for doing it every month for the next 6 months, or however many months you want to use it. Well, so when you get a customer, if a customer purchases, you make $50. If they're a preferred customer, you earn $20. Now, here are the packages. So the core package, when someone purchases the $295, we call it the core package, you will earn $35 and you also get 180 points. If they get the advanced package that costs you $535, you will earn $75 when they purchase that from you, and then you'll get 300 points. If they get the premium package through you, $405 is what you're going to earn, and you will also earn 745 points to go with that. And so with our compensation plan, there's the second way we get paid, or the third way we get paid is called our binary commissions. This is a team effort, meaning I'll show you how it works in a moment. But the binary commissions, this part of the plan will allow you to earn all the way up to $25,000 per week. And not per month, but per week in this one way of pay. It's very, very lucrative. And then imagine with us only costing $95 a month, how is this possible, you guys? But it's very lucrative. So let me show you how this works. If this were you, and let's say you went out and told 4 friends or 4, maybe a family member, a friend, a co-worker, whatever, and based on the information you share with them, we encourage you to send them to thisisinfo.com, or we encourage you to send them to a call like the one you're on now. We will do a private call for you, just like we're doing for Tony. And when those 4 people come on board, anybody, let's say, for example, if this is your cousin, the next person that has to come in, they have to fall below her. She will benefit from all of the volume and the points that we were referring to being generated from this person. And the next person, maybe if you brought the next person in, that person has to fall below the person at the bottom. In other words, there could be 1,000 people on your left-hand side. You may not even know who these people are. They're going to start falling in as people start joining. You're going to get paid on all the people that fall below you. You guys, it is a beautiful thing. Okay, so this is called the team commission because all of us are contributing to that volume. Now, once you get 4 people on your team, you're now what we call a manager. And that is very important. And why is that important? Because it opens up the 4th way of pay called a matching bonus, where if anyone you personally enroll, let's say that you enroll JT and JT goes out and earns $1,000 this week in the binary, you will get 25% of what he earns, or $250. The person on the second level, that's the people that JT referred to the business. You get paid on those people as well in the previous way we got paid, called the binary. Whatever those people earn in the binary, you'll get 20% of that. An extra if it was $1,000, you would get 200. And then those people are going to refer people as well. You get 20%. So those are some details. We can go over that later with you, but just know that we have 4 different ways of pay, and you can get more elaboration on that on a site called thisisateam.com, and breakdown videos, whatever. So also on digitalalliance101.com is some of the testimonies that you hear us talking about. They're recorded on that site as well. So we've given you little tools that, little postcards where you can put your patches in the postcard, explains the benefits, explains how to wear it, and put the patches in there, and it gives you a professional presentation once you share this with people. And what happens, we do these calls every night. So for example, a call is going to be coming up in about 7 minutes. And here is the code right here, 7 minutes at 8 o'clock Eastern. The Zoom code is 733-910-1313, password 39. Take your phone out and take a picture of it, because you can get on that call. You might say, call your sister, or maybe your husband missed a call, and say, you're not going to believe what I just heard. If you get on another call, that call right there, you will hear it again. So we have something every day for you. But with that being the case, you guys, I'm really excited to let you know that this is time to make your move, because remember that binary is moving really, really fast. Tony has a big vision to help a lot of people. You all know Tony, you know how he is. He's really wants to help people with his nonprofits and things like that. So your hope is for the future. There's hope for you in your future, whether you need financial freedom, whether you need health freedom, whatever it is, we got you. And it all gets started with that X39. So with that being the case, I want to thank you all so much for joining the call tonight. We will, this call is recorded. Please get back with JT, Bishop Grandison, Tony, whoever invited you to this call, and let them know how you're ready to get started, what package you want. And we will be talking with you very soon. Y'all have a wonderful evening.